Jersey Line, Pat O'Neil here. Know the big difference this year's season? We have air in the football this year. Pretty good week last week. We went 9-7 again, 2 weeks in a row of 9-7. We should have been like 11-5. Two of the worst coached games I've ever seen was the Rams game and the Raiders. Raiders, the pits. Kyler Murray, kid's great. He's very talented. There's a lot of problems with that team, but he's a talented kid. Runs around very reminiscent of Fran Tarkenton. They're going in for the touchdown to take the lead. And I'm thinking Josh Daniels is going to put a spy on Kyle Murray. You know, bringing a defensive back just to follow him. Keep your eyes on his hips so he doesn't fake you out and run it in. No spy. Guess what Kyler Murray does? Runs it in. I lose. Rams, I think they were up like 28-3, and I wound up losing that game. The Rams won, but they didn't cover. So hopefully we have a better week. They had a couple of the Jetsies won. The Jetsies won again. There were a couple of upsets there. But, you know, you do 9-7, you're all right. You're playing with their money. All right, here we go. Thursday night. Interdivisional rivalry here. Longtime opponents, the Steelers versus the Browns. Steelers lost last week, but I'm going to roll with these Steelers again because I have zero faith in the Browns. I think the future's ahead with the Steelers when they put the kid in, Pickett. But right now they're going to stick with Trubisky. They can run. They can play defense. And I'm getting 4.5 points. Over-under, 38.5. Taking the Steelers plus 4.5. Sunday, 1 o'clock, Ravens at the Patriots. Won with the Patriots last week. Ravens, and I won with the Dolphins. Dolphins came back huge. Fourth quarter, I was working in the garage during the game, so I didn't get to see everything. I was just listening to it on the Alexa. Came back, I win. Ravens were crushing the Dolphins until the fourth quarter. I look for the Ravens to play a full 4 quarters against the Patriots. I'm going to take the Ravens -3, over-under 43.5. Bills at Dolphins. Won that game. Bills blew away the Titans. I like the Dolphins. I like Tua. I think the connection between Tua and Hill is good. I think they're going to have a very good season, the Dolphins. They're not going to have a very good game against the Bills. The Bills look invincible, like I said last week. I'm looking to roll with the Bills again this week. I'm going to take the Bills -5.5. Over-under 52.5. 1 o'clock game, Sunday. Saints at Panthers. If you look at the two teams, the Saints are further along than the Panthers. The Baker Mayfield trade hasn't worked out yet for the Panthers. I'm going to take the Saints -3, over-under 40.5. Saints -3. 1 o'clock game, probably the bet of the week here. Sunday, 1 o'clock, Chiefs at Colts. I don't know what happens to the Colts. You got Matty Ice there, Matt Ryan is the quarterback. You figured he was the final piece, a real good quarterback. Not the case. What they did? They tied the Texans the first week, and they got shut out by the Jacksonville Jaguars last week. Now they're up against the Chiefs. I'm going to roll with the Chiefs, and it's kind of a small spot, too. I'm going to take the Chiefs, -6.5, over-under 50.5. Sunday, 1 o'clock, Lions at Vikings. Lost with the Vikings last week at Philly. They weren't even in the game, the Vikings, last week. The Lions play you tough. They got that rookie defensive end, Hutchinson. The kid can play. Detroit can play on defense. The whole trick is their offense not to give the game away. I'm going to roll with the Lions. Plus, I'm getting 5.5 against the dysfunctional Vikings right now. So I'm going to take the Lions plus 5.5, over-under 53.5. Sunday, 1 o'clock, those very Eagles that crushed the Vikings. They're at the Commanders, the Washington Commanders. I'm a believer in Jalen Hurts. I'm going to go with Hurts. I'm going to take the Eagles -6.5 at Washington, over-under 47.5. 1 o'clock game, Raiders at Titans. You know, you can see why Josh Daniels wasn't that successful the first time around with Denver. You know, maybe he has to stay in the shadow of Bill Belichick because he did a terrible coaching job last week. I look for this to be a tight game. I think the Raiders pull it out. Raiders at Titans. You know, the Titans start 0-3. They're done for the season. I can see the Raiders pulling this out with a field goal. I'm going to take the Raiders minus 1.5, over under 46.5. Texans at Bears. Yeah, I was really leaning to take Texans, but I'll take the home team here. I like Justin Fields. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. They got a pretty good running game. They lost to the Packers last week, but had they scored at the goal line, I think that game would have taken a different turn, but they didn't score at the goal line. The Packers won. I'm going to take the Bears minus 2.5 at home against the Texans. And the Texans, they play pretty tough. Lovie Smith coming back to Chicago, so they'll be psyched up. But I'm going to take the Bears minus 2.5, over under 40.5. Bengals at Jets. Bengals are off to a very bad start. Jets surprised everybody last week with their 2 touchdowns in like the last 2 minutes. But I think the roll ends there. I'm going to go with Joe Burrow, even though their offensive line with Cincinnati is porous. I mean, they can't protect. I think they'll protect against the Jets. I'm going to take the Bengals minus 4.5, over under 45.5. 4 o'clock game. Jaguars at Chargers. Well, Jaguars' 1-game winning streak will come to an end. I'm going to take the Chargers minus 7 at home, over under 47.5. Falcons at Seahawks. Geno Smith is showing up. Falcons play tough. You know, Marcus Mariota is the starting quarterback, but the kid, eventually the Redden kid will get in there. I'm going to take the Falcons plus 1.5 against the Seahawks, over under 41.5. 4 o'clock game, the Packers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a tough one. I don't know if Tom Brady has any wide receivers for this week. Now, they just signed Cole Beasley to the practice squad. I don't know if he'll be ready for Sunday. I'm going to take the Pack in this one, plus 1.5 against the Buccaneers. Packers plus 1.5, over under will be on the screen. I don't have it on my card. I forgot to put it there. 4 o'clock game, Rams at Cards. Yeah, I was really leaning towards the Cardinals because of how the Rams played last week and how they played the first week. But I'll go with the Rams one more time. I'm going to take the Rams minus 3.5, over-unders on the screen. 8 o'clock game, 49ers at Broncos. Jimmy G is the quarterback for the rest of the season. Unfortunately, their young quarterback broke his ankle. He'll be out for the year. I'm going to go with Jimmy G with a full week of practice now. Against the Broncos. I'm going to take the 49ers. Boy, I don't have my spread on here. I'm going to take the 49ers, over under 44.5. You'll see the spread on the screen. And terrible job with my index cards this week. And Monday night, the Cowboys against my 2-0 New York Giants. I didn't ride with them in the first week, but I rode with them last Sunday and won. I'm going to go with the Giants again against the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to take the Giants at home, minus 1.5, over under 39.5. Bet with your head. You can bet $5 on FanDuel. These are all FanDuel lines. Don't bet crazy. Enjoy the games. I'll talk to you next week. Good night.